The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Subway. It's what to eat when you want to eat fresh. Subway, eat fresh. And by IBM, making on-demand business a reality for companies around the world. Sellout crowd, a raucous crowd on hand at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles as this Division Series Game 3 shifts to Southern California. Hi again, everybody. Alongside Tim McCarver, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to playoff baseball right here on Fox. Timmy, the Cardinals, up 2-0, they have dominated this series. No two ways about that. And now Jim Tracy in L.A. leaning hard on Jose Lima.
Well, you hear what's going on behind us. The electrifying crowd right there with Lima taking the mound. And that's what the Dodgers are hopeful for. A week ago, they clinched their division with a grand slam home run by Steve Finley. And that was on Saturday, the next to last day of the season. And Jose Lima will be on the mound this evening. And Jim Tracy saying that the Dodgers are desperate, his words, to get 6 innings out of Lima so they can set it up for Eric Gagne with the lead in the late innings.
Well, baseball fans, grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. Always a factor out west, Timmy, when we get these games started a little after 5 o'clock local time. You hear so much about the glare and the twilight and all that kind of thing. How much of a factor quickly might that be early in a game?
Perhaps in right field only. You can see Milton Bradley, the right fielder. If he has to go back on a ball, it could be a problem.
Tony La Russa's National League Central Division champion St. Louis Cardinals, winners of 105 games during the regular season, ran away from the rest of the Central Division about midway through this year and never looked back. Let's take a look at Tony's starting lineup tonight. Tony Womack leads off at second base. Larry Walker is in right field. Albert Pujols is at first base. Scott Rowland, the third baseman. Jim Edmonds in center field with Edgar Renteria at short. A ladder third of Reggie Sanders, Mike Matheny, and Matt Morris against Jose Lima, a 13-game winner during the regular year. Especially tough, Timmy, here at home.
A lot of people talk about control pitchers, and actually Lima is a pitcher who misses just off the plate when he's very effective. Home mound advantage. The Dodger mound, since they lowered the mound back in 1969, the Dodger mound, a lot of hitters have accused the Dodgers of keeping that same slope. Obviously, Jose Lima, rather excitable, and he tries to intimidate the hitters. Normally, it's the hitters who try to intimidate the pitcher, not so with Lima.
Lima, former 20-game winner with Houston back in 1999. The following year, after winning 21 games in that 99 season, he lost 16 games. Bounced around from Detroit, pitched in the Independent League for a short time. Kansas City brought him back, pitched well for them before he got hurt last year, and has resurrected his career in Los Angeles this year.
9-1 here at Dodger Stadium this year. One of the dominant home pitchers in baseball.
Tony Womack looks at a strike, and we are underway at Dodger Stadium. Pulled in at third base, Adrian Beltre. Womack can't bunt, likes to bunt, instead hooks it into right field, a base hit. And Womack, 26 stolen bases during the regular year, was only thrown out 5 times. While we have a moment, let's check in with Jeannie Zalasko.
And keeping an eye on, of course, on the divisional series in Minneapolis. Second inning pitch for Tom Gordon, facing Justin Morneau. He strikes out, and the battle wages on. Top 10, everybody has 5.
What a wild game that is at the Metrodome. The Twins trying to send it back to Yankee Stadium. And if that happens, we'll have it for you here on Fox tomorrow night. Strike one to Larry Walker.
Key home run by Ruben Sierra, a 3-run shot in the 8th inning off Juan Rincon.
Oh, and 1 to Walker. 3 hits and 8 at-bats thus far during this series, with a couple of home runs and 3 runs batted in. He took the 2 home runs in game 1.
Lima with very quick feet. Fast move to first base. Only 5 runners in the National League stole bases against Jose this year.
1-1 to Larry Walker. become in this St. Louis batting order. Acquiring him just after the trade deadline from Colorado. Was hurt most of the first half of the season. Swung on and missed. There's that Lima changeup down and away, and he'll throw that frequently tonight.
Good time to do it with that hole open on the right side. You can see changing speeds and going off the plate away. That once again is when Lima is at his most effective.
One ball and two strikes, and Womack will draw a throw over at first base. We talked to Tony La Russa about the running game tonight against Jose Lima. You mentioned, Timmy, only 5 against him all year long, but Tony thought they might have a chance to take 1 or 2 bags throughout the course of this one.
Not a hit-and-run situation right here, but something shocking that Tony told us. He said Albert Pujols, who had 46 home runs and is on deck for the Cardinals, the guy who likes it the most.
Foul ball.
That's why Larry Walker wears that right shin guard, the sawed-off shin guard, because he hit so many balls off that front foot.
One and two the count on Walker. And it's strike 3 called on the outside corner. And Lima pumping that fist, getting the first out of the night.
The time the Cardinals will complain about that pitch, and that's the pitch just off the plate. You can see Brent Maine setting up off the plate away. And if Lima gets that pitch, there's a pretty good chance he may go 6 or 7 innings tonight.
Now Albert Pujols, 3 hits in 7 at-bats, has 1 home run, just 1 run batted in during the series, had a monster regular season once again. Pujols hit .331 during the regular year, 46 home runs, 123 batted in. Let's see if they play hit and run here in the opening inning with Pujols. Not on the first pitch, ball 1 in.
I told Tony that I have never heard of a man with as much power as Pujols has. 160 home runs in his first 4 years in the major leagues. I'd never heard of a guy who likes to hit and run with that much power.
You were stunned.
I was. Couldn't believe it.
There goes a runner. Pitch taken. Throw to second base. No chance to get Womack. He stole that base off Jose Lima, so now he's in scoring position.
And that was a straight steal. The reason it's so surprising that a guy like Pujols likes to hit and run is because when you hit and run, you're compelled to swing at the pitch. And Pujols is such a good hitter, he shouldn't be compelled to swing at any pitch unless it's his pitch.
The Cardinals have been deadly in the first 2 games of this series with runners in scoring position. There's a strike on a 2-0 pitch that paints the inside corner. The Cardinals in those situations are batting .381. Conversely, the Dodgers, 1 hit in the first 2 games with runners in scoring position. And most of the damage has come with 2 men out for St. Louis. In the air down the right field line and out of play.
The Cardinals have scored 16 runs in 2 games on Tuesday and Thursday evenings. Actually, afternoon game on Tuesday. 13 of those 16 runs have been scored with 2 outs. The importance of that is that when you get a hit with 2 outs to score a run, it's not a cheap run that was scored.
Grounded foul. It remains 2-2. Jim Tracy, the Dodger manager, telling us before the game he really felt like that 4th inning is the inning that got away from his ball club in game 2 after they got the back-to-back home runs from Green and Bradley, then loaded them up for Steve Finley, and they couldn't get in another run.
That 3-1 pitch fouled off by Finley, the key pitch in that ball game.
Fastball up and in. 3-2 to Pujols.
Every pitch to Pujols from Lima has been inside. Pretty clear he's trying to jam the Cardinal slugger.
Pujols Charles has only struck out 52 times all year long. He generally puts a bat on the ball, and does here, and bounces to his turf for the second out. Womack advancing on to third. Psychologically speaking, Timmy, how important is it for the Dodgers to throw a goose egg up there here in the first inning the way they've been handled the first two games?
I think it's more important for the Dodgers to score early like it was the other night. They did on a Jason Worth home run. But what the Dodgers need to do is put some crooked numbers up on the board. Obviously, you need good pitching. And that was a good job of working Pujols, a great hitter, by Lima.
Rolen lines it foul up the third base line. Rolen, the second best hitter in the National League during the regular year, with runners in scoring position, a .358 batter. If you're wondering who is number one on that list, why do you even ask? He plays in San Francisco.
Left fielder.
Same guy.
Bats left, throws left, bats left, right?
Same fella.
Same guy.
Runner at third, 2 away. And again fouled off up the third base line. Not as solid contact there as the first pitch in the at-bat. Rolen, in fact, checking his bat to see if he cracked it. He didn't.
That has been a gutty approach by Lima so far. He pitched 2 holes inside, 3 straight fastballs into Rolen.
Down the right field line. Slicing foul and out of play. The at-bat continues. Lima pumping strikes and Rolen wasted them. Some get wrapped up in the theatrics of Lima, but one thing that can never be denied about this young man, he does compete. He loves the spotlight, and there aren't a lot of those guys out there.
No, that's right.
Breaking ball down and away, evens the count on Rolen at 2-2. Womack started the game with a single into right, stole second, advanced to third on the Pujols ground out, the second out of the inning, and now it's Rolen. Who goes down quick. Dodgers coming up last of the first when we return.
Close play to finish the top of the 10th in the Dome. Miguel Cairo grounder headed for first. Is he safe? Well, the only opinion that matters, the umpire calls him out. Send your cards and letters to Jerry Crawford. Yikes. Headed to the bottom of the 10th, Mariano Rivera going to work. Tie ball game.
Beautiful shot of Dodger Stadium. Just as immaculate now as the day it opened. What a spectacular venue for postseason baseball. Sellout crowd on hand. And the home team comes to bat last of the first inning. Scoreless game. Matt Morris delivers strike one to Cesar, his turret. Good breaking ball there, and quickly 0-2. Morris 1-3 with a .310 ERA in postseason play, but has been sensational during division series play. Grounded down to third. And Rolen throws out his Turris. Let's take a look at Jim Tracy's starting lineup tonight. His Turris is short. Jason Worth in left field coming up. Steve Finley bats third in center field. Adrian Beltre at third. Sean Green at first base. Milton Bradley in right. Latter third of Alex Cora, Brent Maine, and Jose Lima. Get a look at the numbers for Morris during the regular year. Very high ERA for a 15-game winner.
4.72 ERA, and the one thing Matt Morris wants to get is a lot of ground balls. He got one off his Turris to start the ball game. He works exceptionally fast, and he needs ground balls. As we said, one of the problems working from the stretch.
Well, we have a moment let's check in with Jeannie Zelasco.
And you know where we're going. 3 up, 3 down from Mariano Rivera in the bottom of the 10th. Christian Guzman, the final victim. Everybody has 5. Top 11.
Thank you, Jeannie. We'll be checking in frequently.
Boy, that was fast. That half inning by Rivera. He couldn't have thrown 4 or 5 pitches.
Worth, one of the few Dodgers swinging the bat pretty well in the first 2 games of this series. 3 hits and 7 at bats. But foul tipped into the mid of Matheny, and Worth gone on strikes. 2 up, 2 down for Morris. Boy, was he something. Back in that 2001 division series when he locked up with Kurt Schilling in games 1 and 5. He pitched 15 innings in those 2 games, gave up 2 earned runs, and did not get a win in either game.
When you're telling the Dodgers that, you're preaching to the converted, because the Dodgers believe and know how good Matt Morris is. He shut him out on only 2 hits back on September 3rd in St. Louis, the first times that these 2 teams met this year.
Good sharp slider there on the inside corner for a strike to Steve Finley in search of his first hit in this series. He had 36 home runs during the regular year. With 94 runs batted in, breaking ball, he went around, says home plate umpire Chuck Merriweather. Finley no stranger to postseason play.
Morris's curveball is sharp early. A little tougher to see right now if you're a hitter also.
Boy, Finley almost feeling for the ball. He must not be seeing it well at all.
Yeah.
2-2 to Finley. Rolled over it up the first base line. Foul.
A little tough for a right fielder also. Sun will be down in another half inning. And if you're a right fielder, you're just praying that you don't get one of those line drives to your left down the line.
Foul ball.
Boy, how quick was that? Matheny quick on balls in the dirt. And he realized the spin of that ball would take it foul had he not fielded it immediately. But it was a foul ball.
Again a 2-2. Popped up short center field. And Renteria backpedaling to the outfield grass, and Morris a very impressive 1-2-3 opening inning, needing just 14 pitches.
In this postseason.
Top 11 in Minneapolis. It's October. It is Derek Jeter, but it is no go. We'll get to that highlight for you. 3rd time in his career, Jeter has struck out 4 times in a game.
Running guys in scoring position.
Welcome to those of you watching the Dodgers and the Cardinals. Josh Lewin, Steve Lyons, Chris Myers here at the Metrodome, where the Yankees are trying to take the lead in the 11th. Alex Rodriguez at second base. Gary Sheffield at the plate. Derek Jeter started the inning with a strikeout. But Alex Rodriguez now with 2 walks and 2 doubles. He's at second base. What an interesting game it's been for Gary Sheffield. Lost a fly ball in the Metrodome roof. Cost the Yankees a run, but then he started that 4-run rally in the 8th. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, to finish that thought, Josh, you know, Rodriguez had 106 RBIs on the year, but a lot of Yankee fans thought that he would have driven in a lot more. As you look at a nice little slider there from Lowe's. For the longest time, Rodriguez was hitting about 220 with runners in scoring position. Ended up hitting about 250.
Runner going. And Borders no throw. Alex Rodriguez, with Loesch paying him no attention, just sprinted to third base. And now the go-ahead run at third with only 1 out. Sheffield at the plate.
It's just heads up, complete baseball. He one-looked him. Alex could still run. And he just took advantage of the situation.
The Twins needing to win this game 4 to force game 5 in New York tomorrow night. It is 5-5 in the 11th. Sheffield fouls it right back. It's still 1-2. Rodriguez in Sheffield. The first time in Yankee history, Steve, they've had two right-hand hitters with 35 home run seasons simultaneously. And here is Sheffield trying to score Rodriguez in the 11th. The infield in for Minnesota.
With Sheffield at the plate, the infield playing in, you could get somebody hurt.
Two balls, two strikes, just one out.
That's just a big stolen base, because when Sheffield hits the ball, all to do is loft one into the outfield now to score a run.
Ground ball wide of third. It stays 2-2. Gary Sheffield back in 1997, Steve, had a very strong postseason for the Marlins. Since then, he has not been a factor in postseason play. It gets away, and here comes Alex Rodriguez. Borders inserted into the game back in the 8th. Two have gotten by him. 6-5 New York.
So the Yankees have taken the lead. We'll keep you up to date on what transpires through the rest of that 11th and in the bottom half. Meanwhile, Jim Edmonds in a great deal of pain. Timmy fouled this ball off his shin, it looked like. And he's hurt.
Looked like the inside of the right shin. Better than off the top of the foot, and then on a breaking ball by Lima. The ball off the heel of the glove of Sean Green, and for the second inning in a row, the Cardinals have their leadoff runner on.
It was scored a base hit, although it certainly looked like a play that Green should have made. Meanwhile, Edgar Renteria, count of 1-0. 4 hits and 6 at-bats in the first 2 games of this series for Renteria.
Even though Edmonds is hurt, a good time to hit and run sometime during this count. Renteria, the ideal guy with whom Tony La Russa will hit and run.
We'd like to thank our friends at FX for taking on the broadcast of the Dodgers and Cardinals game. The final episode of Rescue Me can be seen Wednesday, 10 p.m. on FX. Slider on the outside corner. That's a good 2-0 pitch there from Lima.
Generally speaking, when pitchers are behind hitters in the count, they try to pitch them away. When they're ahead in the count, that's when they go inside. Good hit and run situation here.
Although not going is Edmonds, and it's in the air to right field. Milton Bradley backing up, and he's got it. And they're going to throw quickly to first base, and Edmonds was very slow getting back to the bag. The throw was offline.
Next.
You got to wonder whether Edmonds is going to be able to stay in the game, Timmy.
I was thinking the same thing, Tom. Watch Milton Bradley come up throwing, and Edmonds limping back to first base. That's not where it's going to really hurt the Cardinals hitting or base running, but defensively one of the finer center fielders in the game. And if it slows him down too much, Tony La Russa may take him out of there.
Of course, the bottom part of the St. Louis batting order has done the overwhelming majority of the damage against Dodger pitching in this series. Let's check in with Jeannie Zalasko.
Back to Minneapolis. Well, you saw Alex Rodriguez score the go-ahead run on the wild pitch. Deki Matsui couldn't add to the Yankees' lead. 6-5 on 11.
Reggie Sanders, a batter. 3 hits and 7 at-bats in the first 2 games. Swing and a miss. Good slider away from him, and Sanders chased it.
Good slider from Lima. Again, off the plate. Your Cardinal lineup, you have to be very patient on those pitches off the plate from Lima.
Good look at it from Diamond Can. On the ground in the hole is Turris and Cora, 2 of the slickest in the business. And that's a double play. Dodgers Dodgers come to bat bottom half of the second inning in a scoreless game, and Jim Edmonds remains in center field. Adrian Beltre, you see the 3 hits and 8 at-bats. No home runs, no runs batted in for the man who may be the National League's most valuable player this season. During the year, Beltre hit .344, 48 home runs, 121 batted in. Morris challenging with a fastball swung on and missed 0-2.
This is the 12th consecutive day that Adrian Beltre has gone to the plate without hitting a home run, his second longest drought of the season. He had a drought of 16 days earlier in the year. 48 home runs leading the majors.
Let's check in quickly with Jeannie Salasco.
Well, it's come down to this. The Twins need a run to stay alive. First up, Jose Offerman grounding out. That would be the first out. 2 outs away from elimination.
What a series that has been, at least the first 2 games. Not much of a game last night, although certainly Yankee fans encouraged by the outing of former Dodger Kevin Brown. But another tight one today.
Well, that team finds ways to win, does it not? Winning in 12 in game 2 to tie the series at 1, winning big yesterday, and then the 3-run home run by Ruben Sierra in the 8th inning tonight to tie it, and they've gone ahead on some good base running by Alex Rodriguez.
Hanging breaking ball that is rolled over foul by Beltre. In fact, October has not been Beltre's month so far in 2004. Beltre in 6 games since the final day of September without a single run batted in. Only 3 hits in his last 22 at-bats, and he's gone on strikes here.
Now batting, first baseman, number 15.
So after the curveball, Morris blows Beltre away with the fastball. So far, electric stuff from Matt Morris. You might say 6 games, a very small sample. Hey, that's what you're dealing with. You know, in the divisional playoffs, pardon me, it's the best 3 out of 5, and you're going to have small samples. You have to do it in a hurry.
And unfortunately, in many regards, that's the only thing they remember you for.
Right.
Let's send it back to Minneapolis. Josh Lewin and Steve Lyons with a call in Minnesota.
Again, those of you watching the Dodgers and the Cardinals, welcome back. 1 out away from the Yankees versus the Red Sox in the ALCS. It is 6-5 here in the 11th inning. New York on top in game 4. Shannon Stewart, the batter. The Twins had this thing in their sights. They were up 5-1. They brought in Juan Rincon, who was lights out all year, his ERA in the 2s. But he gave up 4 runs in the 8th. The Yankees took the lead here in the 11th. Ground ball. Yankees Red Sox LCS for the 2nd year in a row. Another Yankee comeback. And for the 2nd straight year, the Twins are done in 4 against the New York Yankees.
Congratulations to the New York Yankees, and indeed the table is set, as Josh Lewin just said, for the Yankees and Red Sox again in the American League Championship Series. Timmy, you were there last year. I'm not sure it can get much better than that, but who knows?
Who knows? Beginning Tuesday night in the Bronx in New York.
Oh, that is going to be something, and we'll have that entire series right here on Fox. Big Curt Schilling in game 1, undoubtedly, for the Boston Red Sox. Going back to Yankee Stadium. Back to the mound, Morris for 1, and that's a double play to end the Dodgers' 2nd. They get a hit, nobody left. End of 2, we are scoreless. Game 3, top of the 3rd inning. No scores. Jose Lima will face Mike Matheny, Matt Morris, and then back to the leadoff man, Tony Womack, in the Redbird 3rd inning. What a series it's been. Heck, 2 games for Mike Matheny. He homered in game 1, knocked in 4 runs in game 2. In the air, left center field, and playable out there for Jason Worth. 1 away. You know, it's amazing when you look at the bottom part of his Cardinal batting order, and you consider that during the regular season, over 162 games, there's 6, 7, and 8 hitters ranked 13th in batting average, 17th in home runs, 12th in runs batted in. Yet they have done the overwhelming majority of the damage the first 2 games of this series. Those 3 spots are hitting 500. The rest of the lineup 200. 2 gone in the inning. And those guys that are hitting 200, we're talking about Womack, Walker, Pujols, Rowland, Edmonds.
And it's so, once again, it's so blatant in the postseason. When you do poorly, it's exaggerated. When you do well, it's exaggerated. Lima doing a very, very good job in his approach to this Cardinal lineup. Pitching the right-handers, for the most part, all inside. Pujols, Rowland, Reggie Sanders.
We welcome those of you around the country watching the Yankees in Minnesota. 2 down here in the Cardinal 3rd inning. Tony Womack grounds out, and Jose Lima has allowed only 2 hits through the first 3 innings. Dodgers coming up in a moment in a scoreless game 3. Welcome back to Dodger Stadium. Bottom half of the 3rd inning. St. Louis leading this best of 5 divisional series 2 games to none. Tom Brenneman, Tim McCarver, our entire Fox crew welcoming you to Dodger Stadium. Sellout crowd on hand, and Alex Cora begins the Dodger 3rd. And Morris delivers a strike. And Timmy, I know you're very impressed. It's only 2 innings, but 2 very impressive innings for Matt Morris.
Yeah, I think both pitchers are doing what they want to do so far, with Morris with overwhelming stuff. Very impressed with Morris's breaking ball thus far.
Well, we talked about Matt Morris, one of only 3 complete games this entire year, a complete game shutout against the Dodgers. Ironically enough, he beat Jose Lima in that game, and Lima pitched a terrific game. He went 7 innings, allowed only 3 runs.
Lima, a different pitcher than Matt Morris. Morris is a guy who throws the ball off the fat part of the bat, and Lima makes hitters hit the ball even on the fat part of the bat on his terms.
That got the fat part of Cora's hand or wrist.
I don't think the hitters are seeing the ball. We talked about the Finley at bat. Alex Cora normally is gone from being hit by this pitch. That ball stays inside. I don't think he saw this pitch real well. It hit him on the back of the right hand. Right on the side of the hand. Maybe it hit the knob, but certainly it hit the hand also.
Cora shared times over the second half of the season at second base with Jose Hernandez. And for the time being anyway, Cora's going to stay in the game.
You can see by his reaction, he didn't see that ball.
Cora was hit by 18 pitches this season, the 4th most in the major league. So this is nothing new for him. And he's going to stay in there. Now, something you brought up earlier, extremely interesting numbers in regards to Matt Morris having to pitch out of the stretch. He's only had to do that to 1 batter in the game tonight. He got a double play ball from Milton Bradley.
I think in talking to the Cardinals about Matt, they think he generates more leg strength from the windup than he does from the stretch. He gave up 24 home runs of the 35 given up from the stretch. That's the most in the majors. 24 home runs with runners on base this year.
And if you're thinking about batting average, how about the jump there? With the bases empty this season, hitters batting .245 against Morris. With runners on, they're hitting over 300. Now Brent Maine. Breaking ball misses away.
That's an example right there. That's not the type of curveball we've seen from Morris from the windup thus far. That was a floater to Brent Mayne. This is a little lollipop right here. We have not seen that type curveball from Morris tonight.
And now not as sharp again with that command. That one sailed high and away. He's fallen behind. Brent Mayne, 2 balls and a strike. Mayne started the year with Steve Finley in Arizona. Both came over at the trade deadline. Did not homer this entire season, knocking in just 15 runs. Mayne in his career a .300 batter against Matt Morris. Runner goes and it's fouled out of play. Cora not known as a base stealer. He only had 3 of them in 7 attempts during the regular season. Morris okays a sign with Matheny, and now the 2-2. Nope. He'll turn and send Cora back to the bag. Breaking ball driven into right center field. And it will fall in a base hit. Making a turn is Cora on his way to third. And he is safe.
We talked about Edmonds being hit on the right shin, that it could affect his defense. I think this ball would have dropped in there anyway. But still, it is worth considering. Jim Edmonds, a Gold Glove center fielder, with that bad leg, getting to balls like that could be a problem. Excellent throw. Cora just making it. And now the Dodgers could do one of 2 things. They could bunt or allow Lima to swing away. I think they'll have to bunt.
Tony La Russa, not Dave Duncan, coming out for this visit to the mound, and the entire Cardinal infield, along with a battery, gathered around it.
Once again, a lollipop curveball. 2 curveballs from the stretch that we did not see from Matt Morris. A little floater, and big league hitters handle pitches like that.
57,000 on their feet at Dodger Stadium. Runners on the corners. Lima during the regular year, a very good punter, had 8 sacrifices. He did have 9 base hits. He takes down low ball 1. A lot of holes, a lot of moving parts in that Cardinal infield right now, and Lima is a guy generally who handles the bat pretty well. Will Jim Tracy roll the dice? He bunts it in front of the plate. Matheny goes to second base. And safe is the call. And Renteria right in the face of Jerry Davis, the second base umpire. And Tony La Russa is going to come out and dispute that call. It looked like he was out.
Or it may have either hit the bat twice or hit Lima going to first base. Oh, it did. It hit him in the right hand. He's out. He is out. That play should be reversed. The ball hit him in fair territory. Lima saying no, but obviously he's going to say no.
Well, the entire infield crew, of course, they add 2 additional umpires for the postseason, one down the left field line, the other down the right field line. Jerry Davis is the crew chief. He's a second base umpire. This ball clearly hit Lima.
A hitter, when he's bunting, he separates his hands, and the ball either hit Lima on the right hand. This is a bad call right here. That ball came up and either hit the bat between the hands or it hit Lima in the right hand. But obviously, neither the first or third base umpire saw the play. Here it is one more time. Right there. It hit the bat. In fair territory, batter out. But no umpire saw it. The Dodgers get the call. And they're hoping to turn this into a little momentum right here.
First break of this game, maybe the first break of this entire series for the Dodgers. Now Cesar is Turris. And a breaking ball, another lollipop curveball, as you called it, Timmy. Matt Morris, a very different pitcher with runners on base than when they're empty.
I'll tell you, he looked so tentative from the stretch. With the bases loaded, I'd go ahead and wind up right here.
On the ground, foul by Izturis. Izturis this season with the bases loaded did not have a single hit in 12 at-bats. Nary a one. Breaking ball right at the belt. Izturis thought it was high and has words with Chuck Merriweather. 1-2. These are the situations the Dodgers cannot fail to cash in on if they want to hang around and send it any further in this series.
Jim Tracy talked about the bases loaded situation the other night. There were 2 outs then. Tonight, none out.
And after that called strike on the high strike a moment ago, Izturis forced to chase that one and fouled away.
That's an interesting and good point, Tom, because a lot of times if you have that call go against you early in the count, it forces you to swing the bat with 2 strikes, something you don't want to do. I'll tell you, if I was Mike Matheny, I'd tell Matt Morris to wind up and forget about that stretch. Wind up whenever you can. Right now, the percentages, there's just no odds in going from the stretch right here. You don't need to do it.
Sometimes numbers don't tell the entire story. With Matt Morris, the numbers don't lie. He's still pitching out of the stretch. And it's in the air, short left field. Coming hard, Reggie Sanders. He's got it, and the runners stay put. So the first big out in this inning for Matt Morris.
Left fielder, Jason Worth.
The only time the Dodgers have led in this series. Game 2 Thursday night. A 1-0 lead on a home run by Jason Worth. That's been it.
Dodgers with 3 solo home runs on Thursday night. Jason Worth, Sean Green, and Milton Bradley.
The Dodgers hit 10 grand slams during the regular season, the most of any team in baseball. And Worth has some pop in that bat. Cora, Maine, and Lima aboard with 1 out, scoreless game, bottom of the 3rd inning. A home run in the 1st inning with 1 out by Jason Worth came off Jason Marquis. His first career postseason home run. The only lead in this series for the Dodgers. That made it 1-0 on Thursday night. They're trying to change that right here and right now. Boy, he had a rip at a fastball there and fouled it back.
Worth just missing this fastball. Matheny setting up outside and tails inside. And Worth would like that one back.
Bases loaded 2-1. Threw a fastball right by him. Only time will tell, but this could be the single biggest at bat of the season for the Dodgers. Because their season might be over. by the end of the night. And it's popped up into foul territory. There's a lot of that here. And Pujols with room. And there are 2 away in the inning.
Again, Matt Morris gets away with a curveball. It is so clear that his curveball is different from the stretch than from the windup. A high curve, and Worth under it pops it up, and Pujols corrals it near the Cardinal dugout.
Well, here comes Steve Finley. The last time he came to bat in this ballpark with the bases loaded. He hit the grand slam, but the other night he came up with the bases loaded and popped up to center field. And a breaking ball from Morris is rolled over foul. These are the situations the Dodgers got Steve Finley for. He didn't deliver the other night. He has been as solid a player as there has been in baseball over the last dozen years. Not saying he's been the best player, but he has been an outstanding player for many, many years. Broken back, base hit. 1-run score. 2-run score. And Finley delivers this time.
Delivers a package the contents of which were shattered. A splattered bat and 2 RBIs. There's a saying in baseball that a hitter will exchange a bat for a hit anytime, particularly with the bases loaded. First hit of the series for Steve Finley.
Adrian Beltre down a strike. Morris struck him out swinging his first time up. Beltre is yet to knock in a run in this series. And again, Beltre tardy on the Morris fastballs.
Well, Matt has gone back to the windup. Runners on at second and third, and you could do that with the bases loaded also, particularly, as we said, when there's a disparity in speeds of the curveball and the fastball, and there certainly has been so far.
Gone swinging Beltre, but the Dodgers on the board. They lead 2-0. The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. They're calling it Lima Time here in Los Angeles. And so far, Jose right on schedule. Twirling a 2-hit shutout through the front 3, and the Dodgers with only their second lead in this series on a Steve Finley broken bat 2-out 2-run double. Part of the order coming up for St. Louis. Walker, Pujols, and Rowland. First pitch swinging. Larry Walker pops it up into foul ground. 1 away. Jim, you've been around baseball a long, long time, and so much has been made of Albert Pujols, the first player in Major League history to hit 30 home runs, score 100, knock in 100. Each of his first 4 years in the big leagues. Where do you put him of some of the greats you've seen in the past? Maybe that's an unfair question.
No, I don't think it's unfair at all. I'll tell you, he is among the best hitters. I think you can take him out of that young hitter category because of what he's done the first 4 years.
Right away center field. And the 4-time Gold Glove winner Finley squeezes it tightly. 2 away.
I think when you talk about Albert Pujols, you talk about where his weaknesses are, and National League hitters have not found them yet. Normally, a power hitter, you can pitch inside. You can't do that with Pujols. He'll adjust with 2 strikes and hit the ball down the line with power. He has power from line to line. He can hit the ball down, hit the ball up, hit off-speed pitches, and catch up to the fastball. I mean, there's not much that he can't do with the bat.
Ball one low and away. Lima needing only 3 pitches to retire Walker and Pujols to begin this 4th inning.
Yeah, so far, Jose Lima has tantalized the Cardinals.
One pitch in the air, left center field. Finley coming on to get it. And how about Lima? Not even loud contact through the heart of the order. 2-0 Dodgers. Shawn Green to begin things in the Dodger 4th inning. Game 3 of his National League Division Series. The Dodgers hoping to play here again tomorrow night. Long way to go. Green takes ball 1. Morris hit a batter, allowed a single. The Cardinals got a bad call go against him on Jose Lima's bunt in that 3rd inning, which loaded the bases with nobody out. And then Morris retired his Turris and Worth on pop-ups. Finley a broken bat 2-run double. That ball stalled it into left center field. It's 3-0 Dodgers.
What a rocket by Shawn Green. Not a bad fastball. But as the old saying goes, a ball hit that far is not a good pitch.
Unless you're Shawn Green. It's a real good pitch.
That's right.
That one blistered up through the middle, but they had Bradley positioned beautifully. Let's check in with Jeannie Zelasco.
It is baseball's version of Groundhog's Day. Another October, another postseason celebration involving pinstripes. The Twins blew a 5-1 lead, and the Yankees sent them into the offseason. And you asked for it. You got it, America. Yankees, Red Sox, a trip to the World Series on the line. It all gets underway Tuesday night on Fox. Can you feel the love?
Oh, we can feel the love, Jeannie. You better believe that. Well, I just think, and I brought up the name earlier, Timmy, and I know you recall, and you recall with great love for that 2001 World Series, that magical World Series, and Curt Schilling, who was so instrumental in Arizona's 7-game win, will now come back and pitch against the Yankees again in the Bronx.
Best World Series in the history of this great game.
State Farm Insurance covers the field defensively. 2 of the top defensive ball clubs in all of baseball locking up in this series. The Cardinals, with all the Gold Glove winners littered all over the field. 7 more of them when Larry Walker came over from Colorado. And the Dodgers might have a couple of guys who get Gold Gloves this year that have never gotten them before. Cesar Izturis, maybe Alex Cora.
Outstanding double play combination. In my view, the best in the game.
Fouled away by Brent Mayne. He had a base hit into right center field and scored on the Finley base hit in the 3rd inning. So Shawn Green is homered in back-to-back games of this series. And it's 3-0 Dodgers here in the bottom of the 4th. Broken bat roller down to Pujols. And that will retire the side. But Shawn Green launches one to the seats in left center. We're back to Los Angeles after a break from your local Fox station. Jose Lima climbs the hill there at Dodger Stadium, set to begin the 5th inning. Lima's thrown 11 pitches over the last 2 innings. He's retired 8 straight Cardinal batters. Strike 1 to Jim Edmonds. Edmonds has one of the 2 Cardinal hits against Lima. Fouled a ball off his shin his first time up, and he smokes one into center field to begin the 5th. 3rd time in 5 innings the Cardinals have had the leadoff man aboard.
Now batting, Shortstop, Edgar Renteria.
We talked about Jose Lima and how he's 9-1 here at Dodger Stadium. And it has long been held that the pitching mound at Dodger Stadium is by far the best pitching mound in the National League because of its slope. The mound was dropped from 15 inches to 10 inches after the 1968 season because of all the heavy earned run averages or low earned run averages, the lack of hitting. And you can see that the slope right here, pitchers love to pitch on the mound at Dodger Stadium.
Fly ball into right field off the bat of Renteria. Bradley's got it one away. Well, Timmy, why wouldn't, if pitchers love it, why wouldn't more mounds have a similar like slope around baseball?
Well, when they changed that rule after the '68 season, there were a lot of people that said that they didn't change it at Dodger Stadium, that it was still 15 inches high and not the regulation 10 inches. But I agree with that. I think the slope can turn the effectiveness of a pitcher into a much better pitcher because the hitter feels like he's more on top of it. The steeper the slope, generally, the better the mound.
For the pitcher.
For the pitcher. When you think about baseball and a pitcher's mound, what other sport does any athlete have an advantage over another athlete because he's not playing on a level playing field?
Great point.
Baseball might be the only sport.
Yep. It's also the only sport where the man who takes that position on the field is not allowed to go to that position until the game actually starts for real.
That's right. But the slope of the mound and the mound here at Dodger Stadium has certainly paid big benefits for Lima.
Boy, and Lima continues to pound away on the inner part of the plate on some of these Cardinal right-handed sluggers. I mean, he has just come pitch after pitch after pitch on the hands of Reggie Sanders.
It's the thing, you don't have to throw hard to pitch inside, and Lima's proving it tonight.
There is certainly a buzz in this ballpark here tonight with these Dodgers up 3-0. Edmonds a short lead over at first. It's a very different Dodger crowd than in years gone by. Of course, the Dodgers have not been to the postseason since 1996. But now they're playing more music, rock and roll music between innings. The arrival of Eric Gagne coming on from the bullpen. There's a lot more electricity in this ballpark than there used to be when it seemed like the Dodgers were in the postseason every year for so many years.
Last time the Dodgers won a postseason game, 1988. Game 5 of the World Series against Tony La Russa's Oakland Athletics.
Slider just off the corner. And Lima wanted the call, didn't get it.
There's Lima teasing Reggie Sanders again, and you throw so many pitches off the plate, you start thinking those pitches are strikes. That ball was outside.
Reggie reaching for that pitch down and away from him. And Green able to tuck it away for the second out. The Dodgers, the best defensive team in all of baseball during the regular season. State Farm covers the field. Cesar Izturis trying to become the first Dodger shortstop since the great Maury Wills to win a Gold Glove at that position.
Maury Wills won the MVP back in 1962 with 208 hits, and Izturis with the most hits by a Dodger shortstop since that year. Maury Wills in 1962 changed the game too. 104 stolen bases. And then Lou Brock came along after the trade from Chicago to the Cardinals.
Into center field, a base hit by Mike Matheny. And Jim Edmonds advances on to second base. Matt Morris will bat with 2 on and 2 out here in the 5th.
Then, of course, Ricky Henderson with
Took
the
the words right out of my mouth.
Athletics. So for about 2.5 decades, the game of baseball changed into the speed type game. And then in the early 90s, actually the middle 80s, Mark McGwire came along. And for the last 15 to 18 years, baseball has been an explosive home run hitters offensive sport.
And you'd have to throw in the likes of the Vince Colemans and the Tim Raines there for a while.
Absolutely. Ron LaFleur of Detroit.
Breaking ball away from Morris. Morris, good hitter. 10 hits and 62 at bats during the season, drove in 6 runs. Get a look at the pitch count for Lima. Extremely efficient. 1-1.
I think Lima telling his tourists to look at Steve Finley in center field, and he wants Finley to move in more. So his tourist relaying the sign to move in a couple of steps.
And Finley's still not sure what they want him to do. He keeps looking back in.
Lima taking a look at Finley right now. But he relayed the sign to the shortstop. As a pitcher, you don't want to be blatant enough to try to get the outfielders. I know the histrionics of Jose Lima, but you don't want to be that blatant.
But then again, it's Jose Lima.
He is rather animated.
I know some don't like it, Timmy. I love it. The guy brings passion.
There's no mean-spiritedness to it.
There's not. On the ground, broken bat. Beltre will just go to the bag for the force play, and Lima. 5 shutout innings. Jose Lima outdueling Matt Morris thus far. 3-0 ball game. We go to the bottom of the 5th. We caught up with Jim Colburn, the Dodger pitching coach, a moment ago, and asked him about the work so far of Jose Lima.
Hard, great competitor. He loves the big crowds. I think he feeds off that, and he's having fun.
You know, Jim, it appears that he's a master at throwing those balls just off the plate to tease the hitters.
Well, good pitchers are all that way. All the good pitchers can do that.
You know all about that, Timmy. That's what they do to you. Unless they can throw it right by you.
Oh, yeah. If you throw hard enough, you can blow it right by guys. Lima is not that type of pitcher anymore. He was when he first came up with the Houston Astros. But he has been masterly thus far.
Only 58 pitches against this Cardinal lineup that is regarded by most as the best in the National League. And just before he was ready to take the mound, Lima hoping for divine intervention and then a peck on the noggin for his pitching coach. How about that? Strike 3 to Lima.
For the Dodgers, shortstop Cesar Izturis.
Passing on some tips to the leadoff hitter, Cesar Izturis. Constant motion, Jose Lima.
He's one of those guys, if he plays for your team, you love it. If he's on the other team, you can't stand it. But Jeff Bagwell was asked about Lima and the many years they played together in Houston. He said, I'll have him as my teammate any day, every day. He's the same whether he's the guy pitching that night, cheering on his teammates to get him a win. He's the same when anybody else is pitching on a team. He's rooting for them. Come back to the mound, and Morris has set down the first 2 here in the 5th. A lot of pitchers, Timmy, you know around baseball, the day they're pitching, they're the #1 cheerleader. But when it's not their day on the mound, they're not all that interested in what's going on.
Yeah, when they're starting, today is win day, is their mantra. When they're not starting, they're in the clubhouse.
tomorrow night, Timmy and I will come your way either here at Dodger Stadium or we'll be down in Houston for Game 4 of that series, where the Astros will try and win their first ever postseason series. And a native son, Roger Clemens, will get the ball tomorrow night at Minute Maid Park on 3 days rest.
On 3 days rest after throwing 117 pitches in the first start against the Braves on Wednesday.
Popped up short right field. And Walker the call and the catch. Good solid bounce back inning for Morris. Top of the order coming up. Redbirds down 3. The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American Revolution. By Duracell. Trusted everywhere. And by Sprint. Introducing an entirely new way to buy wireless. Sprint DCS. Sellout crowd, Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Game 3 of this National League Division Series. Look at that little angel. Boy, is that heaven sent.
Oh, probably take her an hour and 20 minutes to eat that hot dog.
God bless her. Look at that curly hair. Oh, and every dad who has a little girl out there knows exactly what I mean. They own you. Big inning for Jose Lima. He has only allowed 4 base hits, 4 singles in this game, but now begins his 3rd time through the Cardinal batting order. Womack puts down the bunt, foul ball. Tony 1 of 2. Singled leading off the game, stole second, wound up being stranded at third.
And the Cardinals realize that the next 2 innings are the time to strike, because if they don't strike over the next 6 outs, they're going to have to face Eric Gagne, the premier relief pitcher, certainly one of the top 3 relief pitchers in the game. So you have 6 outs to get Lima and perhaps a left-hander or a right-hander. Yancy Brazoban. And Jim Tracy pretty clear with the Dodgers in a desperation situation that he will use Eric Gagne as quickly as possible.
2-2 the count on Tony Womack. In the air, left center field. Backing up on it, Jason Worth. And so far, this is playing out precisely the kind of recipe that Jim Tracy has ordered up the entire year to win games in Los Angeles. We asked him about it today.
Our starting pitchers go out there with, to me and for me, I think, a real thought in mind that if you can get 18 to 19 quality outs, and we hang around and stay in the game, then we have put ourselves in a position to definitely win that baseball game. Because if we're fortunate enough to get the lead prior to getting to the latter part, now we can really shorten the game.
The Cardinals are the kind of club that they can beat you in a number of different ways. That is not the case for this Dodger team. You just heard the recipe all year long. They need starters to get to the 7th, and then they'll hand it over to what has been one of the strongest bullpens really in the history of baseball over the last 3 years. But of course, a lot of those numbers last year, when they had the best bullpen ERA in the last 55 years in Major League history, was in part led by Guillermo Mota. He's here no longer. Two and one to Larry Walker with 1 down here in the 6th inning. Changeup had Larry way out in front. Barely made contact. 2-2. Walker has struck out looking and fouled out to Adrian Beltre. What an effort through 5 1/3 innings here tonight by Jose Lima. His team facing elimination. He has not allowed a single run to the best offensive team perhaps in all of baseball. Some might argue Boston. Some might say the Yankees. For those that have watched the Cardinals win 105 games this year, most of their fans will tell you this is the best offensive team, and it's hard to argue.
Particularly with Larry Walker.
Gone looking.
See, that's the thing about Lima. He'll tease and tease and tease and then throw one right down the pipe and freeze you. So he went from teasing to freezing.
That might be a new show on Fox.
Reality show. Teased or frozen?
Boy, I could see all the scenarios already in front of me. How about you? Ball one down and away to Albert Pujols.
Myriad ways you could put something like that
You
together.
got that right. Matt Morris has pitched a splendid game thus far for St. Louis. He's only allowed the 3 runs through 5 innings. But Lima the story thus far. 1-0 to Pujols. Popped up, jammed it. And the shortstop is Turris. Tucks it away, and Lima leading the chant of some 57,000 in Los Angeles. Well, the governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, taking this one in. He got a huge round of applause. His wife, Maria Shriver, and their family introduced in between innings, and everybody in this ballpark coming to their feet.
Yeah, the Dodgers trying to prevent that hasta la vista, baby.
Boy, you're on it, Timmy. You are on it. Steve Finley to begin things here in the Dodgers 6th inning. He had a broken bat. 2-run double down the third base line, which broke a scoreless tie in the 3rd inning. Sean Green, a solo home run leading off the 4th. And that's where we stand here in the 6th. Three and 1 to Finley. He'll be followed in the inning by Beltre and Sean Green. 3 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 4 hits for St. Louis. Finley drives one into deep left center field, and over to get it is Sanders, one away. Well, apparently Albert Pujols, not all that camera crazy about our innovative diamond cam. Look at that thing. Isn't that amazing?
It is. Ouch.
Arnold never had that happen to him.
No.
Guys built like me, it's been happening your whole life. Not him. Beltre fouling and back out of play.
We talked earlier in the scouting report about how quickly Matt Morris works. Both pitchers are working quickly and efficiently tonight. The last time these two guys hooked up in that 2-0 game, an hour and 47 minutes.
To Hopper to Edgar Renteria. And there are 2 away here in the Dodgers 6th inning. We invite you to play Hit the Pros, presented by the all-new GMC Canyon, and face real pitches from today's best hurlers. Log on to foxsports.com. Keyword games, GMC. We are professional grade. It's interesting, we talked about a short while ago, the last Dodger postseason win came in that World Series of 1988. And Green blisters one into right field, his 2nd home run tonight. Green, the first Dodger to homer in consecutive postseason games since 1988 when Kirk Gibson did it.
Matt Morris tries to get inside on Green, but the ball stays down. Down and in, but not for long. Steve Klein up and throwing for the Cardinals. What did he turn on that pitch? The first home run to left center, and then that one to the position in right field.
First Lady pretty excited there. First Lady of California.
Yes.
Well, you got to look in the first two games at what the Cardinals are all about. You're getting a look tonight at what the Dodgers are all about. Scoring just enough and leaning on good pitching. Their starting rotation is certainly not this year what it has been for so many years. We've seen that clearly in the first two games of this series.
And it seems to be the perfect combination for this crowd. Animated with Jose Lima, their favorite pitching tonight. They have really taken to Jose Lima here in Los Angeles. And he to them.
Still 3-2 on Bradley. No activity down in that Dodger bullpen. Jim Tracy going to stick with Jose Lima to begin the seventh inning. Steve Klein continues to throw for Tony La Russa. Ball 4 to Bradley. Would not be surprised to see Bradley running very early in this county. At 15 stolen bases during the regular year. He has one so far in this division series. And now Dave Duncan will come out to visit Matt Morris.
Well, the reason that makes so much sense is you're playing with house money if you're the Dodgers. You can afford to allow Bradley to run. It's really kind of a free play. It's like in football, a quarterback seeing the defensive end jump off sides and realize he's got a free play and go downfield and maybe connect. But you got the bottom part of the order. If Bradley's thrown out, you're going to pinch hit for Lima in the bottom of the seventh inning anyway and hope he makes it through the top of the seventh. So this is clearly a running situation with 2 outs. You have a couple of hitters coming up with not a lot of power. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Cora take a pitch or two and give Bradley a chance to run.
Not running on the first pitch. Would have been a good one to run on. The first pitch breaking ball, strike 1.
What a shot.
What a ballpark. I mean, Timmy, you've been coming here a long time. There indeed is something so special about this ballpark. All the acreage around, the landscaping, coming up over hills to get to the top of this just absolutely spectacular Dodger Stadium. There it goes. Bradley started, then he stopped. Strike 2.
Dodgers' first year here at Dodger Stadium in 1962. They played in the Coliseum from 1958 through 1961 after moving from Brooklyn after the 1957 season. It is beautiful.
Tony La Russa was asked that should his team win this division series in this ballpark, would it erase some of the memories of that 1988 World Series when his Oakland A's came here and they were overwhelming favorites and they lost in 5 games. He said, I think there's room in the brain for both the good and the bad.
Great line.
Worrell Hershiser, that magical 88 season, lined into right center field with a runner gone. Bradley making a turn, going to third, and they'll hold him right there. So runners on the corners. With 2 away and a catcher, Brent Maine, a left-handed batter coming up. Let's see if Tony La Russa makes a pitching change right here and right now.
Might be the time to do it. A hanging curveball with Bradley running. Renteria trying to decoy Bradley at second base. What happens is a middle infielder looks like he's going to take a throw, and that slows the runner up. That's why Renteria is so close to second base. And this is an odd move right here. Instead of bringing the left-hander in and face Brent Maine, Tony La Russa has elected. I don't think I agree with this move.
Really?
No, I don't. No, I think you bring the left-hander in because what you're doing right here, even if you get Lima out, you're clearing the pitcher. And if the Dodgers do win this game, that'll be the first question tomorrow that I'm going to ask Tony La Russa. And not only that, you're moving a runner into scoring position. You
I guess you're just counting on your pitcher, Matt Morris, and you're saying to him, hey, you're facing the opposing pitcher, and they're not going to pinch hit for him. Your job is to get him out.
I mean, that's the way I'd look at it. If Lima comes up with a hit, this game's out of reach.
Yeah.
I don't think you walk a guy in the scoring position. That's why I think bringing in the left-hander would have made more sense then, because the Cardinal pitcher's not due up until the 8th inning unless the Cardinals played some base runners in the 7th.
Knee buckler on the breaking ball, strike one to Lima. We mentioned Lima during the regular season had 9 base hits and 49 at-bats with 2 runs batted in. Morris knocking on the door at 100 pitches, and he's working out of his regular windup. Obviously, Tony La Russa trusting Matt Morris a great deal here. Morris has walked 2 batters here in the inning, one, of course, intentionally. He's hit a batter tonight. His control, by and large, has been pretty good, but nowhere to put Jose Lima. Strike 2. Struck him out to in the inning. But the Dodgers get another home run by Shawn Green, his 2nd of the night. We go to the 7th inning. Dodgers in front, 4-0. Top half of the 7th inning. Jose Lima set to face Scott Rowland. Dodgers lead 4-0. Game 3 of this National League Division Series. Third base line. Beltre swings it in time. What a play by Adrian Beltre.
Particularly considering that he uses his glove also. Normally, third baseman will barehand a ball like that. It was not hit well. Terrific play by Adrian Beltre to get Scott Rowland.
What a sensational effort so far here tonight by Jose Lima. It didn't look like any Dodger pitcher could retire these Cardinals with any consistency whatsoever in the first 2 games of this series. Now the Cardinals still have 8 outs to play with, and it's a lethal offensive club, no 2 ways about that. More than capable of getting 4 in a hurry. But Lima painting the inside, painting the outside. Really not a lot of solid contact made all night long.
Jim Edmonds hit one of the hardest balls on his last base hit. The ball hit up the middle.
Struck him out on 3 pitches this time.
Lima going up the ladder. He has been outside, inside, down, up. And he gets Edmonds for his 4th strikeout of the night.
Two down. Edgar Renteria twice his flight out to Milton Bradley. First pitch breaking ball low. Activity for the first time in the Dodger bullpen. The hard-throwing rookie right-hander Yency Brazabad cranking it up, but that will not last long. If Lima gets through this 7th inning, and we'll see what Jim Tracy elects to do in the 8th, but he told us before the ball game Eric Gagne is available in the 8th inning. On Renteria. Lima has not walked a batter all night. He's allowed 4 hits. 2 of them came in the 5th inning. Full count. 55,992, the largest crowd at Dodger Stadium since the 1988 World Series, will rise as one. First walk of the night issued by Lima. While we have a moment, tonight's Budweiser fantasy player, David Ortiz, and why not? That game-winning home run in Boston's 3-game sweep over Anaheim. Log on to foxsports.com, keyword fantasy baseball. Today's game is brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time.
I think Lima is kicking himself because of pitch selection on that 3-2 count with a 4-run lead. He tried a slider to Renteria and walked it.
Fly ball by Reggie Sanders. Finley will get it up the warning track. Jose Lima, 7 shutout innings here tonight. The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by the makers of Pepcid Complete. Fast, long-lasting relief for your tough heartburn. By Chic Quattro, 4 blades, 2 conditioning strips for an incredibly close, smooth shave. Easy for me to say. And by Best Buy, thousands of possibilities. Get yours. Bottom of the 7th inning, top of the order for the Dodgers. Matt Morris still in there for St. Louis.
Tommy, you and I were talking about it between innings. The way we look at it, there's no sense in taking Lima out of the game because of the caliber of the balls hit by the Cardinals. They are not hitting the ball hard, so why take him out?
Well, Yency Brazoban was up in the bullpen in the 7th inning. He is no longer throwing. I'm with you all the way. There's no way he's coming out of this game for me.
Nope.
Jam shot to Hopper to Womack. And his Turris retired. Jose Lima in between innings. Smiling. Maybe Jim Colburn telling him he's out of the game, and he's saying, "You got to be kidding me. Didn't you listen to Tim McCarver up there?"
Well, he may have said that.
You think?
Of course, you can't go to Eric Gagne. I mean, you can't fault that. One of the top relievers in the game, but because of the Cardinals not hitting the ball hard. And the amazing thing about Lima tonight, to me, is how he's gotten inside on the right-handed batter. He's pitched them all inside. He's gotten a lot of key outs on inside fastballs that he's throwing 87 miles an hour, 86 miles an hour.
Jason Worth pops it up into right center field, and Larry Walker is there. 2 away in the inning. Well, beginning this weekend, Oscar De La Hoya and the next great champ are moving to their new home on SFN. It all starts this weekend with an encore presentation of the first 4 shows and continues next weekend with a brand new episode. The next great champ is now only on FSN. Well, the more and more you look at Lima in that dugout, is he or isn't he coming back out there for the 8th?
I don't know.
Finley grounds it foul. 0-2.
He's thrown 84 pitches. That's a handshake. I think what this does, it eliminates the long man now. You could go right from Lima to Gagne.
Or Brazoban for right.
Right. Exactly what Jim Tracy said they needed before the game. And they've gotten it out of Jose Lima.
Blowing away to Finley, a ball and 2 strikes. Lima's last outing against St. Louis, as we mentioned earlier, on September the 3rd when he locked up with Morris. It was Morris doing the shutout pitching in that. On the ground and behind the bag, it's Renteria and Morris. 7 solid innings here tonight.
You bet.
We go to the 8th, and here comes Lima, leading by 4. Our Nissan game story, Matt Morris and Jose Lima both throwing the ball well here tonight. Lima has been sensational, twirling a 4-hit shutout Sean Green, the first Dodger with a multi-homer game since Eric Karros in '95 when they were swept by Cincinnati. Told you the Dodgers have lost 8 consecutive postseason games. The second longest losing streak in the postseason. The Texas Rangers have lost 9 in a row. Mike Matheny down a strike. In the air, short right center field. Finley waits. 1 away. All our beautiful overhead shots of Dodger Stadium in downtown Los Angeles. We thank Ameriquest. Splendid pictures at Dodger Stadium. Nighttime fully upon us now here in Southern California. Matt Morris taken down for a pinch hitter, Marlon Anderson. And even though Morris gave up 4, we said it, Tim, he threw a good ball game here tonight.
Yes, he did. A ball game that normally would keep your team in the game, but Lima just terrific against this lineup.
Gagne cranks it up in the Dodger bullpen. Anderson takes one away. We told you earlier about Lima. Came up originally with Detroit, broke in 94, only for 3 games that year. The following season, 15 starts, an earned run average over 6. It's on the ground to the right side. He put it all together in Houston. And then wound up pitching in the Independent League. And now his career back on track in Los Angeles, especially tonight. Dodgers didn't get much from their starting pitchers in the first 2 games. Odalis Perez, who will go tomorrow if there is a game tomorrow night. Jeff Weaver giving up the 6 earned runs, not even getting through 5. But much like Lima, Odalis Perez, a very different pitcher in this ballpark. Tomorrow night, if there is a tomorrow night in this series, oh, what an intriguing matchup that could be.
Jeff Suppan, the right-handed sinker baller for the Cardinals against Odalis Perez.
And listen to this crowd sensing the final batter perhaps tonight for Jose Lima.
Jeff Suppan against the left-hander Odalis Perez, who lasted only 2 2/3 against the Cardinals on Tuesday.
Well, now Lima going to milk it for all it's worth. Going to walk back behind the mound, go to the rosin bag, speak to himself, perhaps answer himself, and now the 2-2 coming. We'll do it again. Womack stays alive, hoping to keep the inning alive for the big hitters coming up next. Gagne ready in the Dodger bullpen at the first hint of trouble. Three and 2 to Womack. When Lima went to the Independent League, he was making $3,000 a month. He gave his check every month to the clubhouse manager of his team and told him to go buy the best food you can possibly buy for all these guys who aren't making any money. He said, I am going to get back to the major leagues. I'm not sure he thought he'd be here right now. Base hit into center field by Womack. The first Cardinal hit since a 2-out single by Mike Matheny in the 5th inning.
See what Jim Tracy wants to do. You have to give Gagne a little breathing room. Clearly he's ready. You don't want the Cardinals to get back into this game. One pop by Larry Walker. Of course, if Walker gets on, you know he's out of the game.
And Jim Colburn going to be sent out for a visit. Well, again, we'd like to remind you we'll be coming your way one way or the other tomorrow night right here on Fox. Either game 4 of this National League Division Series, or if the Cardinals rally and finish off the Dodgers here tonight in 3, Timmy, you and I will make our way to the Lone Star State. Coverage begins tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, 4:30 Pacific. And coverage begins with the all-new Dodge Dakota pregame show with Jeannie, Kevin Kennedy, and Eric Karros. Nice to have him aboard with us through this postseason.
I think it's pertinent with the Astros and the Houston fans watching this game that if the Cardinals win this game, then the Houston game will be a night game, and that's an extra 5 or 6 hours for Roger Clemens working on 3 days rest. If you're an Astros fan thinking about tomorrow, you want that game to be a night game, and for that to happen, the Cardinals have to win here tonight. I think Colburn may have told Lima, and look, you've got a 4-run lead, but you don't want to give Walker a lollipop down the middle of the plate. Remember, you've got Gagne warming up.
One hopper to Green, and Lima, 8 shutout innings tonight in front of 55,992. The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge by Singular Wireless and by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. A masterful performance tonight by Jose Lima. 8 innings, allows 5 hits, and not a single run to the highest scoring team in the National League.
The new Cardinal pitcher, Matt Morris, going 7 innings, giving up 4 earned runs on 6 hits. Normally, particularly with this lineup the Cardinals have, that's good enough to win, but not tonight so far.
And of course, Morris not helped by a call that went against St. Louis back in that 3rd inning, when clearly Jose Lima touched the ball twice when bunting should have been called out. Was allowed to reach base safely, which loaded the bases. Morris retired the next 2 before Finley drove into with a broken bat double.
First base umpire Bruce Dreckman and Brian O'Nora were both asked. They tried to get it right, but they didn't get it right. The replays clearly showed the ball hitting the bat in fair territory, and by rights Lima should have been called out. The last complete game for Jose Lima, and he's only had 8 in his major league career. That was back on August the 11th, 2001, while pitching for Detroit.
And Beltre sends one into center field off Eldred for a leadoff base hit here in the 8th inning. America's #1 pregame show is back. Tomorrow we break down the Giants' resurgence under head coach Tom Coughlin. And Terrell Owens spends his bye week with us in the studio. Joe Gibbs goes 10 yards with Terry Bradshaw. Fox NFL Sunday returns tomorrow noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. Boy, what a full day of the best sports has to offer tomorrow. Doubleheader Fox football, and baseball tomorrow night. Bottom of the 8th inning, leadoff single by Adrian Beltre brings on the left-hander Steve Klein. Boy, has he been durable and dependable through the years for St. Louis.
Nursing a sore left index finger right now, but he is well enough to make the postseason roster.
First pitch breaking ball to Sean Green, the other big story tonight for the Dodgers, along with Jose Lima. Green, a perfect night, a single in the second, a home run to left center field in the fourth. His second home run came to right field in the sixth. Check swing, and he went around. No player has ever hit 3 home runs in a division series game. Klein went on the 15-day disabled list at the end of August with a groin injury, missed nearly a month, made 4 appearances after coming off the DL. Grounded to the right side. Womack wanted to go to second, but couldn't find the handle, so takes he out at first.
Yeah, Tony couldn't get the ball out of the glove. He looked towards second base. Had he made the play, they might double up Green, even though Womack had to go to his left. But that little mishandled ball, and after the pivot, you could see he almost was ready to throw a split finger fastball to Edgar Renteria. Elected properly to go to first.
Now Milton Bradley with a runner in scoring position. Bradley 0 for 2 tonight. He's bounced out twice, once into a double play, and he's going to bounce out for a 3rd time. Bobbled by Womack. Recovers in time. Tony trying to stick a fork in it.
Tony fielding with a lily pad the last 2 balls. Jacob. Now he finds the handle to get the man.
Boy, he's one of our favorites, though. What a great guy Tony Womack is.
And what a money player he has been. I mean, we talked about the 2001 series earlier. It was his double off of Mariano Rivera in the bottom of the 9th inning that led to the hit by Luis Gonzalez over the drawn-in infield.
And, of course, that at-bat never happens were it not for Womack's game-winning hit in Game 5 of that division series against Steve Klein.
Against Steve Klein, right.
Alex Cora with a runner at 3rd and 2 men out. Look to the strike. Looking ahead to the Cardinal 9th inning. Part of the order due up. Pujols, Roland, Edmonds. Tony La Russa hoping for more. Bouncing ball, Womack charging. Throws in the dirt, and Pujols picks it out of there. So we go to the 9th, and Jose Lima is coming back to the mound. We thought Jose Lima was through after 7. We thought he might be through after 8. Obviously, that is not the case. Lima trying for his first complete game since August the 11th of 2001. What a magical performance here tonight, to say the least, when they needed him the most. For the Cardinals with some heavy thunder coming up here in the 9th inning as Pujols drops it foul and out of play. And he's behind Lima, 0-2. 8 teams, 1 champion. We're in October. The race to the World Series is on. Catch all the action right here on Fox. Don't miss it. The last complete game shutout by a Dodger pitcher in the postseason, Orel Hershiser. Game 2 in that 1988 World Series against the Oakland Athletics. That ball into right center field. Milton Bradley will get there.
And an off-balance swing by Albert Pujols. He has done it all night long. The Cardinals have not had a lot of loudly hit balls this evening. Off the end of the bat, Off the handle. He has been something.
Lima among the candidates for the Roberto Clemente Award. He has done so much for those less fortunate in this his first season in Los Angeles. And again, one of those guys, if he plays for your team, you love him. Not only what he does on the mound and the theatrics, the passion he brings to the ballpark, but the passion he brings to the community, whatever community that he plays in. He's a good man. Two-one pitch into center field. Finley's there. Coming into this game, Timmy, if somebody would have told you that this would be a 4-0 ball game, you'd have bet the ranch it would have been flip-flopped as to who had four and who had none.
That's a fair point and absolutely right.
Well, these Dodgers, the most come-from-behind wins of any team in the National League this season. Now they're trying to be the comeback kids in this series. Trying to send it to Game 4 here tomorrow night. Strike one to Jim Evans. Up and playable. Jose Lima. A complete Game 5 hit shutout. And the Dodgers will play Game 4 here tomorrow night. What a magnificent performance by Jose Lima.
Not only a psychological lift because they obviously needed a W. In desperate straits, in dire straits, but because of who won the ball game, an added boost going into tomorrow night's game against the Cardinals.
These Dodgers look down and out when they left St. Louis on Thursday night.
As low as you could be,
yep.
Tom.
I think most people felt like they'd come back here, play one game, and that was all she wrote.
Yep.
So here's the lineup tomorrow on ESPN. It'll be Atlanta at Houston. The Astros looking for their 20th consecutive home win. And a win tomorrow would send the Astros to their first ever postseason and on to the National League Championship Series. Tim and I will be back here tomorrow night for Game 4 of this series. It is Lima time in Los Angeles.
Certainly is.
Let's go downstairs to Kevin Kennedy.
All right, thanks, Tommy. Jose Lima, you are exhausted. Listen to this crowd. Is this the best game you have pitched maybe in your lifetime in the biggest stage?
I think so. They believe in me. I say show up, show up. Look what happened. Look what happened, man.
Hey, you know, you've been kissing guys' bats to get them hits and doing all kinds of things to bring this ball club and the energy up in Los Angeles. What did you do last night to get yourself up for the biggest game for you?
A great night rest and doing my homework. The way I pitch against Dang over there in St. Louis, I know if I bring the same thing I pitch over there, I'm going to have a great game.
Did you know you're going to have your first complete game in the postseason? This is the first Dodger victory in the postseason since 1988, Jose.
Feels terrific. It feels great to be a Dodger blue. The fans deserve it. I mean, this is something I never thought coming from the independent league last year, being the situation here in LA. I love everybody.
Well, you went to spring training. A lot of people may not realize you went to spring training. You had to make this ball club. You didn't start out in the rotation, but you appreciate this game. You've told me so many times this year because of what happened to you going down to the independent league. Your feelings?
Unbelievable. I mean, going to spring training as a minor league invitee, getting a chance to pitch out of the bullpen. Now it's a starting pitcher. They believe in me. Pitching with a fracture in my thumb. I mean, I pitch with my heart because I know They deserve it, and that's what I did tonight.
Now, you know, we know that music is your passion, Jose. Do you feel like singing anything to the crowd right now? You're on national TV.
Hey, cuídate que no te pique.
All right, Jose, thank you so much. He's having the time of his life. Tommy, back up to you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. The producer of tonight's game, Jeff Gallen, our director, Jim Lynch, the associate director, Eric Billigmeyer, our broadcast associate, Zach Fields. Our technical producer, Dan Rotante, our technical director, Jeff Butler, our audio mixer, Jeff Cohen. The studio show produced by Gary Lang, directed by Bob Levy. The associate director, Stephanie Medina. The coordinating producer of the studio show, Scott Ackerston. The studio technical supervisor, Jack Simmons. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. And the executive producers are David Hill and Ed Goins. So, we march on to Game 4 of this National League Division Series tomorrow night. Right here on Fox. Jeff Suppan for the Cardinals. Odalis Perez for the Dodgers. October baseball.